Sleep is an essential biological need, ranking alongside food and water. In fact, you can survive longer without food than you can without sleep. It's that important. Prolonged sleep deprivation can have really dire consequences and is so dangerous that even attempting to break the world record for staying awake has been banned by the Guinness Book of Records. Yet somehow, more than a third of us are still getting insufficient sleep, and we're sleeping on average 1 to 2 hours less per night than we were a century ago. Despite our best efforts to train ourselves to sleep less, it just simply isn't possible to override our biological sleep needs. And so a lack of adequate sleep will always lead to health consequences. Even quite minimal sleep deprivation can have a significant impact on our health and our performance. For example, if someone were only to sleep for 6 hours per night for 10 consecutive nights, they would experience a drop in performance similar to someone who has gone a whole night without any sleep at all. And what is even more concerning is that person would likely not even be aware of their drop in performance, because their lack of sleep would also cause a reduction in self-awareness. Now, sleep deprivation over the long term has been linked to an increased risk of heart attacks, certain types of cancer, diabetes, dementia, and weight gain. It also affects our mental health, increasing the risk of depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders, creating a vicious cycle as these also negatively impact our ability to sleep. So, what is to blame for today's sleep crisis? Why is it so difficult to get the sleep that our bodies need? Well, in the simplest terms, it's modern living. Most of us are bombarded by a toxic daily blend of factors that disrupt our basic biological functions and stress hormone responses. Some examples of these include busy and stressful lives with little opportunity to switch off, smartphones and technological devices always fighting for our attention, long working hours and shift work causing irregular sleep patterns, artificial lighting, especially in the evenings, which inhibits sleep and alters our sleep patterns, and sedentary work, which is often indoors, reducing exposure to natural daylight. Now, these factors either contribute to an overactivity of our autonomic nervous system, known as the sympathetic nervous system, or they disrupt our natural body clock, or in some cases, they do both. The sympathetic nervous system is the part of our nervous system which responds to stress or danger with something called the fight or flight response, which you may have heard of. Now, when this system is activated, our heart rate and blood pressure increases, our breathing quickens, our pupils dilate, and our blood vessels constrict. And these are all evolutionary responses which help us to escape from immediate danger, such as running away from a tiger in caveman times or facing up to a mugger in modern times. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is extremely effective at stopping us from sleeping, since imminent danger is clearly not the ideal time to be taking a nap. And this is where its role in sleep is so important. Overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system prevents sleep. That's fine, you might say. I don't want to sleep when I'm about to be mugged. And that's right. But unfortunately, modern living in general has led to an inappropriate, significant, and long-term overactivity of our sympathetic nervous systems. These systems evolved over millions and millions of years, but they're lagging far behind the breakneck pace at which human life has changed in the last 100 years or so, which really is just a blink of an eye in evolutionary terms. So these systems spring into action, triggering our fight or flight response over everything from a critical colleague at work to a social media post that didn't get as many likes as you wanted. And as a result, we can find ourselves lying in bed feeling wide awake or waking many times through the night. Now, not only are we fighting against our biology, but modern work culture has also pressured us to prioritise work over our biological needs. There's a widespread belief that sacrificing sleep for more waking hours leads to greater productivity, which is perpetuated by expressions that you've heard, such as sleep is for the weak or you snooze, you lose. However, in reality, the opposite is true. Prioritizing sleep is the key to peak performance and achieving our goals. Luckily, cultures are starting to shift, and the importance of sleep is increasingly being recognized. So instead of looking at sleep as a weakness, we should embrace the far more accurate phrase, "I slept like a champion." Okay, so to recap, sleep is vitally important for your health and your well-being. Sleeping less than your body needs is always a false economy, as the hours gained are less productive and we pay the price in the long term with our health. Even a small amount of sleep deprivation has a big impact on how our bodies might perform, but we might not notice this reduced performance as our bodies are very good at tricking us into thinking we're okay. And finally, modern living causes overactivity of our sympathetic nervous system, which can further reduce our sleep quality and quantity.